The Tampa Bay Birth Network is an organization of families, professionals, and individuals who support pregnancy, birth, and parenting as normal and natural processes. Our events provide information and resources to help empower expectant couples. The Tampa Bay Birth Network is a Florida non-for-profit organization and federal 501c3 made up of professionals and individuals who support the natural processes of pregnancy, birth, and parenting. This year's Natural Birth and Baby Expo was hosted by Corbett Preparatory School of IDS in Tampa, Florida. To find out more, please visit www.tampabaybirthnetwork.org.
Hello and welcome. I'm Lorena Jefferson, your host, and I have the ladies here from Psalms 139 Birth Services, right?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, and we have Christine.
Hello.
This is Christine, and we have Lauren.
Hi.
And we also have Kat.
Hi.
They have a phenomenal company. I'm sitting here trying to remember what they're saying, so I think it's best to just let them say it. So, Christina, you seem to be anxious to introduce the products because you said it so well to me. So could you please give us a list of the services that your group provides?
Absolutely. We cover full service birth support, maternity, birth, and newborn photography, doula support, prenatal, postpartum, stillbirth day doulas, grief doulas, whatever is needed for that support, placenta encapsulation, lactation consultants, childbirth education, henna, and belly casting, just a whole mess of things.
That's beautiful, though. It's awesome.
Thank
now,
you.
okay, I'm going to ask you.
Sure.
What is a doula?
A doula is a support for mom, whether...
It's a human being.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, yes. Like,
I am a doula.
literally don't know
Lauren
what
is a doula.
Is. Okay. What exactly do you do, like in simple terms for our audience?
We support mom through the process of whatever stage of life she needs that support. Mm-hmm. So for myself, I am a birth doula, so I would have some prenatal consults with mom, be with her during her birth, and then have a postnatal consult with her to help wrap up and offer closure to that birth experience.
Okay. So when you say doula, is that like a coach? Like you would be with her while coaching her as she's going through the stages of delivering the baby? Is that what you're talking about? Or is it something different?
I'm just there to support her in her decisions throughout the birth. If a doctor presents different options that maybe she wasn't completely comfortable with, I would help her see the pros and cons, and then she gets the final decision because it's her birth, her body.
Okay. So Lauren, tell us a little about one of the other services besides doula.
I offer doula services as well. I also offer placental encapsulation.
So please tell me what that is.
Placental encapsulation is not a new fad by any means. Most mammals actually consume their placenta after birth. And there are a couple different ways to prepare a placenta, anywhere from smoothies to pills. There's a couple different ways to prepare the pills. But what it helps do is it helps mom replenish some of those hormones that are lost during birth that have built up in her body for so long, which helps regulate your moods. It can help increase your milk supply. It can help keep postpartum depression at bay. It helps with postpartum bleeding and urologia. It also helps with even later down the road, a lot of women choose to make a tincture, which you can use even when you're in menopause. If you decide that you need a hormone boost or some regulations, they have that available. Some women choose to have a slough made, which they can use on anything from diaper rash to scars if they were a mom that ended up with a cesarean birth or something like that. So there are a lot of benefits to placental encapsulation. I also offer henna and belly casting, and I also offer blessing way consults for moms that are choosing maybe a little less traditional baby shower, but just want a time for them and other mothers to come and enjoy just being pregnant and being full and heavy with a baby, and a little bit less commercialized. Maybe they're their second or third pregnancy and they really don't need anything else for baby because they have all of the items from baby number 1 and 2, but maybe they would like, all of the moms that are coming to bring a bead that they can make a necklace with while they're in labor, something to focus on, or mantras on banners that they can hang. That way, while they're in labor, they can focus on the positive affirmations that this is their baby and their body know how to work together and to have that birth that they're looking for. So those are some of the things that I do. I also do lactation consulting on the side after you've had baby, and any questions that come up, whether it's 6 weeks, 6 months, or 2 or 3 years down the road. I'm definitely available to help moms with all of those questions throughout their journey.
You ladies are a resource. Okay, so I got a question. I just had a baby and I want my placenta. Can I just request it?
Absolutely.
How does that process work?
It depends on where you're birthing. If you're birthing at home, your midwife normally will just end up putting it in your refrigerator for you, and there's no questions asked. If you're birthing at a hospital, it's in the state of Florida, there's just a waiver, a liability waiver that you have to sign, and whoever would be taking the placenta out of the hospital has to sign as well. Is it possible to keep your placenta after a cesarean section? Because that's a lot of, a vaginal delivery is easy. It just comes right out and it goes. But cesarean births are a little bit different. And the answer is absolutely. You can take, as long as the placenta does not need to go to pathology, there is no reason why you can't take it home. And even sometimes when they do decide that the placenta needs to go to pathology, you can ask that they just take a piece, and that once they get the reports back, you can go on and encapsulate the rest of it, as long as it hasn't been contaminated.
And it needs to go on ice.
And it needs to go on ice or in a refrigerator within a certain amount of time after birth.
Okay, and say you had it in the refrigerator. How long would it last before you needed to consume it or do something else with it to preserve?
That's kind of a twofold question. For my clients and for Christine's clients, I know that we generally say we will have it back to you within 72 hours after you call us and say it's here. Just so we can get it back to mom. That way, if her milk supply is coming in, those first couple of days right after birth, it's a very hormonally driven couple of days. And so if we can help that mom have those hormones back, we try to get them back as quickly as possible. But generally, rule of thumb is if something hasn't been done with it by 24 to 48 hours, if they know that, okay, well, I'm not going to encapsulate it this week, but maybe next month, it can be put in a freezer and it can be encapsulated up to a year later. If that doesn't ever happen, and you decide, okay, I've got this frozen placenta in my freezer for over a year, what the heck do I do with this thing? Parents choose to plant it with a tree. Or they will make prints. A lot of moms choose to have prints done at birth, and those actually go back, but sometimes when other things have come up and the encapsulation hasn't gone through, they'll choose to do prints later. There are, different ceremonies that the parents go through. Unfortunately, stillbirth happens, miscarriage happens, and sometimes when a mom, has a stillbirth, the only thing that they really take back with them is a placenta. And as sad as it is, that's something that they hold on to. And a lot of moms have found a lot of healing in being able to bury their placenta and watch a tree grow in place of their child. And that's really sad, but as multispectrum doulas, we have to realize that it's an unfortunate life event that does happen. And if that's what comfort I can give to that mom, then absolutely that's the comfort that I'm going to give to her. If she decides that she doesn't want to consume it, then let me help you, get it buried and properly taken care of in a ceremony to help her heal and to help her grief.
That's awesome. That's amazing mind, body, spirit combination.
Absolutely.
Yes,
absolutely.
exactly.
It's amazing. And I was a woman who gave birth to a 9-month-old baby, and they told me that the baby was alive and the baby was dead. And so I went through the whole 9 months. And during that time, it was very traumatic because when you're that far, you have to go through the whole process.
Yes.
Through the process, they found that I had the placenta abrupto. And so I pretty much died. And there was a tear, but the baby's back was against the tear. So when the baby finally came out, I hemorrhaged, and I had to have pretty much all the blood in my body replaced. And that took about 3 days for them to bring me back. I don't even remember the in-between. It was 3 days later before I came back. They had to put me on kidney machines and a lot of different things like that. And so when you're talking, I'm thinking, it would have been nice to be able, because, I mean, my children are 24, 20, and Matthew would have been 21 this year. And so it would have been nice to be able to take a piece of him.
Something for closure.
You know what I mean? But back then, I'm not sure if that was available as much or was being that impressed on it. But I have compassion for that because I've been through it as a mom.
Absolutely.
And that is such an amazing, that would have helped me to resolve some things, I really believe, because I felt so empty, and a lot of moms feel that when you go through the whole stage, and then it's almost like, what?
There's no squishy reward.
Yeah, so I have to say that I honor you guys for that, because it's a blessing to be able to be there for somebody and to be able to come up with ways that offer some type of closure. Because it took me a while, but I really think listening to you, that would have been something I would have enjoyed experiencing. You know?
And it's something so small,
absolutely,
but something that
but it was all I had
stays
left.
with you forever.
Yes, absolutely. That's awesome. So, okay, Kat, we haven't forgotten you. You tell us about one of the other services you guys are offering.
My primary service that I provide is lactation counseling. My partner, Amy Bowler, is an IBCLC, which is an International Board Certified Lactation Consultant. It's a mouthful.
Oh, yes, it
Basically, that means that they can counsel breastfeeding problems worldwide.
Okay.
I'm a certified lactation counselor, and some people are like, I have a networking group that I go to, they're like, stop saying lactation, that's too complicated, just say breastfeeding, everybody knows breastfeeding. So I'm a breastfeeding counselor.
Awesome.
And that's all I do.
And what does a breastfeeding, like, tell us some of the things that you've run into, because I'm sure it sounds basic, but you probably have a lot of challenges and some ways you have to be really flexible and creative. So
breastfeeding is not rocket science until it is.
Yes, absolutely, like life.
Yes, exactly, right? So breastfeeding counseling, we do a lot of prenatal education. So like anybody that's pregnant, it's really important to get that education prenatally to prepare yourself. You might be thinking, oh, it's so natural. My body's just going to know what it's supposed to do. In our culture, a lot of births wind up being medicalized, and that causes complications with breastfeeding. So, and even moms recently that are having a lot of home births, they come out and 2 or 3 days later, they're like, uh-oh, I'm having problems with breastfeeding. So we go into people's homes and where they're the most comfortable, and we're able to talk to them, see what they're doing, watch and evaluate how they're latching baby on, and then go from there postpartum. We do referrals to other healthcare providers for lip and tongue restrictions. I just was at a doctor's office last night with a client, and they had a tight frenulum clipped, and now we're doing a postpartum visit tomorrow morning to make sure that breastfeeding is still going good.
That's awesome.
So yes, breastfeeding counseling is very rewarding.
That's awesome. And maybe you can tell me about this, because my baby, when I had her, she came down with breastfed jaundice.
Yes, breastfeeding jaundice.
And it scared the dickens out of me, because my son, I didn't even try to breastfeed. But you know, once you become a mom, you start to think about all those things. And so the next time, after all my experiences I had with him, and then, you know, with the baby Matthew, and then this was my last baby, and I wanted to do everything so natural. So then I tried. She latched on fine. And then all of a sudden, she started turning colors. It scared the devil out of me.
I had a golden baby. I had a golden baby for like a month.
Yep, me too.
Oh my gosh.
Breastfeeding jaundice is a very common thing. It doesn't always have to happen. It's basically the bilirubin level in the baby's body. And different pediatricians have different levels of concern. Like, all babies are not textbooks, and so certain hospitals have certain protocols about what breastfeeding jaundice is, and their level of concern with that is by whatever it says in the manual, basically. So my pediatrician was super chill about the breastfeeding jaundice. He told me not to worry. I gave my baby like 15 minutes of sunlight outside with, completely naked, just a diaper on, and I just kept on breastfeeding. And he had no concerns.
Very different.
Other people's pediatricians will be very adamant about supplementation with formula to push out the bilirubin and cleanse the system. Breast milk is just fine. If there is an issue going on with breastfeeding, then you need to see somebody like me or Lauren, or even Christine is also a lactation counselor. So we all can help navigate that, but sometimes pediatricians are not comfortable with the level of jaundice, and then they kind of freak out the parents.
Yes, I was totally
when it might not be necessary.
On another, and what ended up happening was I never breastfed after then.
Aww.
And she was already 7 weeks early. And so when she came, I wanted to really breastfeed her because she was so young and she was so fragile. And they told me to cease breastfeeding. And so I brought her to the office every day, and they put her under the lamp, and I had to sit in the waiting room crying my little eyes out every day for probably like 3 weeks. And they said it had a lot to do with her prematurity too. But I got so afraid, that I thought I was hurting her by giving her my breast milk. And so I really got to experience it just a little bit. But I have to say it was so enjoyable. The bonding was very different because it was the first and only time I ever tried it. And it was an amazing thing. So you girls do some amazing work. And I honor you a whole lot. I thank you so much for coming. So tell us your website and tell us how we can get in contact with you if anyone needs your services.
Our website is www.psalm139birthservices.com, and there is a contact us form there on the website, and you can get in touch with any of us through that form.
Awesome. So what are your next up-and-coming events that someone can come visit you at? Do you guys have some stuff scheduled?
Not really.
No,
we have some birth worker education happening June 28th in Lakeland, and the location for that's going to be determined.
So it'll be on your website?
Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I think we've got a lot of things kind of up and coming, just finalizing details. So definitely pay attention to the website to see what we've got coming.
Awesome.
I'm looking at doing some henna bellies in the very near future, and doing some other type of stuff like that.
One of our partners over in Orlando has a sacred pregnancy class that's coming up the end of June. So that's something that will be on the website as well.
Yeah, lots of goodies.
I just wanted to tell you every drop counts, and your experience had value and worth.
Absolutely.
And just take peace in that.
Oh, I 100%.
And you did a wonderful job with what you had going on.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
It's been part of my making,
Yes,
and
of course.
That's a lot of my experiences, and I'm grateful for everything because each time it gave me an ability and an insight into another person.
Sure.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And so as a life coach now, that's what I get to do is I get to grab somebody else's hand and bring them to light, and so it's a good thing. And you girls are doing that every day, so I congratulate all of you. You're awesome. So guys, thank you very much for tuning in, and do not forget to check out Psalms 139 Birth Services. Have a great night.